Chapter 73, Flying Demon House. Reach the top. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After opening the small treasure chest, Chen's face suddenly showed black lines, a fourth-grade body-refining pill. A waste of time, Chen said lightly with a curled lip, throwing the pill to Xiaohei. Chen continued to move forward quickly in front of the demon road. Master, who knows what we will gain later? Looking around, Xiaohei comforted him. Hearing its words, Chen was slightly stunned, and then nodded. It seems to make sense. The 10,000 step is the fourth-grade pill. What about the 20,000 step? And, this demon road has 99,999 steps. Who knows, what good gains will there be when you reach the top in the end? In a blink of an eye, another half an hour passed, and Chen had reached the 20,000 step. Sure enough, the treasure chest appeared again, another treasure chest of the same size. However, this time the treasure chest was no longer made of wood, but brass. Moreover, there were some more ferocious beasts on the treasure chest. Without any hesitation, Chen opened the treasure chest. Seeing the contents of the treasure chest, Chen was depressed again. Fifth-grade healing pill. Without any hesitation, Chen threw it to Xiaohei again. These pills really had no appeal to him. After taking a breath, Chen continued to move forward quickly. Half an hour later, on the 30,000 step, Chen opened a silver treasure chest of the same size as the previous treasure chests. Sixth-grade recovery pill. Once again, Chen threw the pill to Xiaohei. On the 40,000 step, there was a gold treasure chest. In the box, there was a level 5 weapon, which was a weapon in the category of magic weapon. Levels 1 to 4 are magic tools, and levels 5 and above are magic weapons. This is a blood-colored dagger. Normally, such a magic weapon is good for the nascent soul stage or even the god transformation stage. Unfortunately, Chen really looked down on such a magic weapon. Once again, he threw the thing to Xiaohei. On the 50,000 step, a body-tempering pill recipe flew to Chen out of thin air, the recipe for the 6th-grade body-tempering pill. Unfortunately, Chen, who remembered all the contents of the alchemy classic, already had the same recipe in his mind. Naturally, this reward became meaningless. On the 60,000 step, Chen got a pet egg. In Xiaohei's words, this is a pet egg of a ground dragon. It can grow to the level of a peak master of the god of transformation. Without hesitation, Chen threw the pet egg to Xiaohei. A scene of squandering appeared, and Xiaohei swallowed the pet egg directly into his stomach. On the 70,000 step, Chen got a body-tempering technique, that can be practiced to the stage of scattered immortals. Without taking a second look, Chen threw it into the small world in his body like throwing away garbage. Such a technique is simply rubbish in front of the origin body forging art, okay? On the 80,000 step, Chen was stunned when he saw the reward in front of him. It turned out to be a flying magic weapon that can attack and defend at the same time. Feitian Magic House. A spaceship that can be enlarged or reduced. More than 100 feet long. 10 feet wide. Can it withstand the attack of a strong person in the tribulation period? The attack power is also comparable to that of a strong person in the tribulation period. An 8-level top magic weapon. Finally, there is a good reward. Putting away the Feitian Magic House, Chen showed a satisfied smile on his face. A large amount of high-quality spirit stones are needed to activate this magic weapon. Chen didn't care about this problem at all. What he lacked the most was spirit stones. This magic weapon is really good. Hearing Chen's words, Xiaohei said with deep approval. This demon road is interesting. I guess that the great fortune that Yang Bubi said is not something that many people can get, right? I don't think many people can successfully reach the top of the demon road. Looking around, Xiaohei said dimly. I think so too. Moving around, Chen said in agreement. The gravity field here is already 60 times, unless some physical cultivation monsters. I'm afraid few people can withstand it, right? Not to mention that there are more and more illusions around now. Along the way, many illusion arrays appeared. From time to time, there are some mysterious and powerful killing wills that affect the minds of the climbers. However, these are not a problem for Chen at all. He completely ignored it all. After drinking a few sips of wine, Chen started the fast-forward mode again. The sun was shining, and Yi Chen had already reached the 90,000th step. Without any surprise, the reward appeared in front of Yi Chen again. This time, the reward was really beyond Yi Chen's expectations. It turned out to be a fist-sized blood-colored crystal. Wait! Why does this blood-colored crystal look familiar? It looks a bit like the killing crystal of the little skeleton. Yi Chen muttered in his heart. This is a quasi-killing crystal. On Yi Chen's shoulder, Xiao He said in surprise. Its little eyes also revealed a fiery light. Quasi-killing crystal. Scratching his head, Yi Chen showed a puzzled expression on his face. Good. Quasi-killing crystal. In fact, its formation conditions are the same as those of the little skeleton's killing crystal. It's just that the energy it contains and the role it can play are not even 1/10,000th of the real killing crystal. But in the outside world, this is still a very heaven-defying treasure. Master, can you give me this quasi-killing crystal? It's very useful to me, maybe I can become stronger because of it. After saying that, Xiao He looked at Yi Chen eagerly. Take it. Waving his hand, Yi Chen said indifferently. Thank you, Master. After swallowing the quasi-killing crystal, Xiao He fell directly on Yi Chen's right wrist and turned into a thumb-sized turtle pattern. After taking a breath and shaking his head, Yi Chen chose to move forward. The speed of his progress was still as fast as ever. Half an hour later, Yi Chen reached the top. He came to the 99,999th step. What surprised him a little was that this time, there was no reward at all. Now, he was in a gray square with a diameter of more than 1,000 feet. In the center of the square, there was a lifelike statue of a handsome young demon 8 feet tall. Looking at the statue, Yi Chen's eyes showed a thoughtful look. Could it be that this demon mountain was the masterpiece of the person who made the statue? Interesting. Really interesting. I didn't expect a human boy to enter the ancestral land of our demon clan and successfully reach the top of the demon road. A gloomy voice suddenly sounded, and at some point, a black figure appeared in front of Yi Chen. Chapter 74. A Mysterious and Extraordinary Child. Is it difficult to comprehend the secret? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Looking at the figure surrounded by black energy in front of him, Yi Chen showed a surprised expression on his face. The remnant soul of the demon clan. An old demon man with a haggard face who looked like he was octogenarian. Young people. You are the only foreigner who has climbed to the top of our sacred mountain in 20 million years. Very nice. After taking a look at Yi Chen, Ken Hun showed an expression of appreciation on his face. That, senior. Why are there no rewards here? After clearing his throat, Yi Chen asked a question that he was more concerned about. Others. He really has no interest. Because there is no reward for climbing the Devil's Road. If they are descendants of our demon clan, they will be transported directly to the core of the sacred mountain. There, they will receive great blessings. And you are not a descendant of our demon clan. Naturally, we cannot allow you to enjoy the same treatment. Having said this, Remnant Soul walked around Yi Chen a few times, and then fell into deep thought. Hearing these words, Yi Chen felt depressed for a while. So, are you working in vain? He didn't notice any formation fluctuations around the square. All I can say is that the level of the people setting up the formation is very high. Backtrack. Yi Chen is really not happy to come. Young man, you can enter the core of our demon mountain. It's just that I have a condition. Staring at Yi Chen's face, Ken Hun suddenly said with a serious face. You say. Hearing Ken Hun's words, Yi Chen's eyes couldn't help but light up. Can you enter the core of the magic mountain? Isn't this the purpose of my trip? The treasure map in his hand points to the core of the demon clan. In addition, that guy Xiao He said that there is definitely a treasure deep in the magic mountain. Understand the artistic conception of death. Looking at Yi Chen, Remnant Soul said word for word. Why? After being stunned for a moment, Yi Chen couldn't help but asked out of curiosity, is there any necessary connection between allowing yourself to enter the core of the magic mountain and understanding the artistic conception of death? Yi Chen was really confused about this. Because I want to see if your talent is qualified to enter the core of our demon mountain. Spreading his hands, Ken Hun said calmly. That's right. You only have 7 days. After saying that, the remnant soul suspended in mid-air and took a nap. Besides being speechless, what else could Yi Chen say? Yi Chen even had some doubts as to whether this was due to the evil intentions of the remnant soul. Don't you just understand the artistic conception? Putting away the wine bottle, Yi Chen muttered, then lazily sat down cross-legged. On this day, two things caused a sensation throughout the eastern region. First thing, on the edge of the eastern territory, 9 heavenly tribulations appeared in the sky deep in a forbidden area. Is it the same as passing through the nascent soul stage heavenly tribulation? As for who the person who overcame the tribulation is, it is still a question mark. By the time some powerful men arrived in the sky deep inside the forbidden area, the tribulation breaker had already disappeared. However, it is said that the person who overcomes the tribulation is a very short figure. Some people speculate that this is a peerless monster of the dwarf clan. Some people also think that this is a peerless monster from some mysterious race. 9 heavenly tribulations. This has already tied the record of killing gods thousands of years ago. Of course, compared to Yi Chen's incredible record, it is still weaker after all. The second thing, the 6 major holy places in the eastern region, as well as the 4 major casual cultivator forces, some immortal seedlings, and peerless monsters died one after another at the hands of a child with mysterious origins. Rumor has it that this is a handsome-looking kid in black clothes who is only 6 or 7 years old. By the time the powerful men from the 10 major forces arrived, the child had already escaped. The entire eastern region is talking about these two things. There are also many people who connect the two things together. Otherwise, are there really so many coincidences in the world? TSK, TSK, TSK. 9 heavenly tribulations. A child of 6 or 7 years old killed many geniuses and immortal seedlings from the top 10 forces in the eastern region. Where does this ruthless person come from? Who knows? It seems that troubled times are coming. First it's Yi Chen, and now there's a kid who's as good as the god of death. Yes. But, I don't know who is in charge of the ups and downs. What race do you think the child is from? I don't know. I guess the top 10 forces are very depressed right now, right? More than half of the peerless strong men in the Xianxia stage have been killed or injured, and now many young fairy seedlings have died. I think the figure crossing the tribulation and the child are the same person. Hey hey hey. It's great to hear. Who makes them so domineering in normal times? They don't have the ability, otherwise I would also want to kill them. Shoo. Keep your voice down. Do you not want to live anymore? Do you think you are a member of the Dao sect, or do you think you are Yi Chen? In front of Xianxia's thatched house in Daozong, Jun Wuxia reported to Xianxia 2 things that have been widely circulated in the outside world. Uncle Master, tell me, could the kid who crossed the tribulation and the kid who killed many geniuses from the top 10 forces be the same person? Looking at Xianxia, Jun Wuxia asked curiously. Yes, playing with the tortoise shell in his hand, Xianxia answered decisively. And when he said this, Xianxia's old face showed an extremely weird expression. Hearing Xianxia's words and seeing his expression, Jun Wuxia was stunned. It's hard to say. That kid is related to Xia Kenzi. Shaking his head, Xianxia's old face showed an unfathomable smile. On the top of the demon mountain, above the square, suddenly, the remnant soul in the air opened his eyes. He also unconsciously showed a dumbfounded expression on his face. Is this kid still a human? Staring at Yi Chen's back, the old face of the remnant soul was full of disbelief. I saw that Yi Chen had been wrapped in a thick miasma of death. He was surrounded by the mystery of death and the power of the avenue of death. If it were someone else, he would have turned into a pile of bones, right? But this kid, he was like nothing happened. If it was just like this, it would be fine. What made the remnant soul even more unacceptable was that Yi Chen seemed to have a vague fluctuation of artistic conception of death. Or, taking a deep breath, Ken Hun calmed down his turbulent mood, comprehending the state of death in less than half an hour. To be honest, he was really shocked. This has overturned his cognition. Why is it so easy to comprehend the state of mind? In particular, the state of death is not an ordinary state of mind. But it is one of the top 10 state of mind. Just when Kanhun thought that Yi Chen would comprehend the mystery of death, Yi Chen opened his eyes and stood up lazily. Senior. Can I enter the core area now? Looking at Kanhun, Yi Chen asked with a smile. Enter. Enter. Enter, you big head ghost. You are about to comprehend the mystery of death, why do you want to stop comprehending? Stinky boy. Do you know that the opportunity of enlightenment is hard to come by? Looking at Yi Chen, Kanhun went berserk. Ahem. That, senior. Is it difficult to comprehend the mystery? Spreading his hands, Yi Chen asked innocently. Chapter 75 Great Fortune. A rusty little iron box. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Isn't it difficult? After a long silence, Kanhun asked with a dark face. Not difficult. Shaking his head and spreading his hands, Yi Chen replied calmly, opening his mouth. Kanhun didn't know what to say. Madman. He couldn't help but curse in his heart, such a good opportunity, just give up like that? Who else is this kid in front of him but a madman? Epiphany. This is an opportunity that can't be met. Ordinary practitioners may never encounter it in their lifetime. It's easy to comprehend the mystery. Humph. This kid can really talk nonsense. That, senior, can I enter the core area now? Looking at Kanhun, Yi Chen repeated the old words. Humph. With a cold snort, Kanhun waved his sleeves. In an instant, a space teleportation array appeared out of thin air and swept Yi Chen away. What a kid who is hard to understand. Muttering to himself, the remnant soul shook his head helplessly, slowly opening his eyes and looking around. Yi Chen showed a shocked expression on his face. Is this the core of the demon mountain? Now, he actually appeared in an endless dark starry sky. Every short distance away, there is a formation that looks like a star. You can choose the treasure of any formation. After the selection, you will be teleported away from here. At this time, a cold voice sounded in the starry sky. I don't know when, a picture appeared in front of Yi Chen. Or, a star map. Inside, there are densely packed star formations. Seeing this scene, Yi Chen showed a surprised expression on his face. What a brilliant formation. Yi Chen is sure that this starry sky formation is at least level 9, why say at least? Because he is not sure whether this is a more advanced formation. After taking a deep breath and calming down, Yi Chen began to choose things. Yi Chen's spiritual consciousness swarmed out and quickly scanned the formations on the star map. The star formations on the star map are varied and have everything, and they are all combination formations. From level 1 to level 9. Among them, there are also some formations whose level Yi Chen can't tell at all. Now Yi Chen can be said to be very entangled. Which formation should I choose? This is really a tangled and headache problem. Xiao Hei, do you have any suggestions? Subconsciously, Yi Chen looked at the little turtle tattoo on his wrist. No. I can feel the energy fluctuations of the treasure, but I don't know where it is. The formation of this starry sky has blocked my perception. Perhaps, the so-called fortune of the core land of the demon clan relies on one's own luck. In the eyes of the peerless strongmen in the heavens and the worlds, luck is very important. So, Master, this really depends on you. It depends on your luck. After saying that, Xiao Hei fell asleep again. Hearing Xiao Hei's words, Yi Chen couldn't help but remain silent. His face also showed a gloomy and uncertain look. Luck? Rely on luck? Then rely on luck. After muttering to himself, Yi Chen casually pointed to one of the formations in the star map. In an instant, the star map in front of Yi Chen disappeared. A star formation flew towards Yi Chen from the depths of the starry sky. Finally, it stopped not far in front of Yi Chen. Something flew out of the formation and floated in front of Yi Chen. Seeing this thing, Yi Chen's face was so dark. It turned out to be a rusty rectangular iron box. Is this a treasure? Yi Chen seriously doubted this. However, when he saw a seal on the iron box, Yi Chen felt more balanced. Perhaps, there is something extraordinary in this iron box. Yi Chen comforted himself in his heart. Without any hesitation, Yi Chen tore the seal of the iron box. The next moment, an egg-sized flame floated out from the iron box. Seeing this flame, the smile on Yi Chen's face froze, a gray flame. Even, can't feel any temperature. What is this? His brain also started to work rapidly. In the alchemy classic, various kinds of heavenly fire, earthly fire, beast fire, and strange fire seem to have no relevant records. Before Yi Chen could react, the flame flew directly to him, it entered his body and fell into the purple vortex in the direction of his original dantian. What is this? After a lot of effort, Yi Chen managed to utter this sentence. Not long after, Yi Chen's face showed a look of astonishment, his eyes also became extremely strange. This grey little flame is actually the same as the original black bladeless giant sword. After entering the purple vortex, it actually slowly devoured the energy in Yi Chen's body. In an instant, countless thoughts and guesses emerged in Yi Chen's mind. Finally, he came to a conclusion: this grey little flame is probably not simple. From its appearance till now, its various performances are really too weird. I have to study it carefully when I have time. What Yi Chen didn't notice was that at the moment when the grey flame appeared, the turtle tattoo on his wrist trembled slightly. Shaking his head gently, Yi Chen threw the small iron box into the small world in his body. A space formation appeared in front of Yi Chen without any sign, and without even a chance to react. Yi Chen's figure disappeared. When he appeared again, he returned to the original square. Come back so soon. Young man, what did you get? That Yi Chen had just landed on the square when the remnant soul appeared in front of him again. A flame. Yi Chen curled his lips and had no intention of hiding it. Flame. After a moment of hesitation, the remnant soul showed a look of astonishment on his face. Is there a treasure in the core of the sacred mountain that is a flame? In the heart of the remnant soul, it was secretly puzzled. Could it be? Did the master leave something behind before leaving? After looking at Yi Chen, the remnant soul did not mean to ask him any more questions. Because he could see that Yi Chen seemed a little depressed. I guess there was nothing special about this flame, right? Since you got the opportunity in the core area, why don't you leave? After looking at Yi Chen meaningfully, the remnant soul asked again. No hurry. I'm waiting for someone. Waving his hand, Yi Chen said lazily while lying on the square with his legs crossed. Oh. Hearing Yi Chen's words, the remnant soul immediately became interested. It seems that except for this kid, all the others who entered the sacred mountain this time are the geniuses of the demon clan, right? Who is this kid waiting for? Chapter 76. You have guts. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It's not that I don't want to say it. It's just that I'm afraid that if I say it, you will be disadvantageous to me, senior. After looking at Remnant, Yi Chen said innocently. When talking about this, Yi Chen actually felt a little guilty. Yang Bubi is the holy son of the demon clan. However, now he has become his servant. God knows, how will the people of the demon clan react if they find out? The remnant soul in front of him looks very weak, but Yi Chen doesn't think that he is really as simple as he seems, since the opponent can control the space teleportation array of the magic mountain. Who can guarantee that he cannot control other things in the magic mountain? Hearing Yi Chen say this, Remnant Soul became even more curious. In his heart, he couldn't help but secretly guess, could it be that this kid is going to be detrimental to the genius of the demon clan? Or what? Say it. I swear, I will never go against you. After a long time passed, Remnant Soul said faintly. Are you sure? After giving Remnant a suspicious look, Yi Chen still didn't believe it. I'm sure. Nodding, Remnant Soul said decisively. Actually, it's nothing, it's just that I accepted the demon clan's holy son as my servant. I'm waiting for him to leave here together. After taking a sip of wine, Yi Chen said lightly, as if he was talking about something trivial. After hearing Yi Chen's words, Kanhan's expression became very exciting. Anger. Incredible. Unbelievable. Besides. You have the guts. Finally, he said with a smile. In Remnant's heart, Yi Chen was completely equated with a madman. It was obvious that he could take advantage of the opportunity of epiphany to understand the secret of death, but this boy gave up. How dare a human race accept a demon saint as a servant in the demon sacred mountain? What is this if not crazy? Ahem. He insisted on provoking me. What can I do? Yi Chen smiled awkwardly and said matter-of-factly. After taking a deep look at Yi Chen, Remnant laughed angrily. However, he soon fell into silence again. Although he didn't want to admit it, he had to admit it, Yi Chen's words are not impossible. The boy in front of him looked as harmless as a frail scholar, he must have used some powerful secret technique to hide his strength. In addition, he was dressed just like an ordinary casual cultivator, he doesn't even have a magic weapon on him. The giant sword on the back seems to be an ordinary iron sword. Such people seem to be easily despised. It is not impossible for the geniuses of the demon clan to boss around in front of this kid. Etc. Could this kid in front of me be a peerless human monster who pretends to be a pig and eats a tiger? The more he thought about it, the more likely it seemed to Remnant Soul. Otherwise, a dignified holy son of the demon clan would be willing to be his servant. The other party must have been forced. Young man, there's something I forgot to tell you. After flying around Yi Chen, Remnant Soul suddenly gloated about his misfortune. What's up? Suddenly, Yi Chen became interested. When people other than demons enter the sacred mountain, we demons will sense it. I'm afraid it's unrealistic for you to leave safely. It's not even impossible to die like this. Looking at Yi Chen, Remnant Soul said slowly. So what? However, Yi Chen's reaction made Remnant Soul a little unexpected. Aren't you afraid? After being stunned for a moment, Kanhun couldn't help but ask. Afraid? Suddenly, Yi Chen was amused. I am not afraid of the Xianxia stage. What about other masters? Yi Chen didn't think that the demons would send out masters from the Xianxia stage. Looking at the entire world of cultivating immortals, there are not many powerful people in the loose immortal stage. They are not Chinese cabbage, how can they show up easily? If it's not the Xianxia stage, then that's no problem. Just run away if you can't beat him. Seeing Yi Chen's reaction, Remnant Soul was stunned again. Suddenly, he found that he could not understand Yi Chen more and more. What a mysterious human boy. Then, the two fell into silence again. Yi Chen was drinking and looking around boredly. I have to say that the gap between the geniuses of the demon clan and Yi Chen is really not that big. Half a day has passed, and still no one has reached the top of the magic road. Regarding this, Kanhun's face was a bit unbearable. Because of this, he was full of curiosity about Yi Chen. A human boy ran to the demon mountain and lead all the demon geniuses to reach the top of the demon road. How did he do it? Suddenly, Yi Chen thought of something. My own treasure map. It points to the core of the demon clan. Why? Careless. How come you forgot this? When he first entered the core land, why didn't he study it carefully? Thinking of this, Yi Chen's consciousness fell into the small world inside his body. Soon, Yi Chen was stunned. That animal skin treasure map actually flew to the small iron box. They actually began to slowly merge, so the treasure map ultimately points to the small iron box. What is that small iron box? What is the gray flame in his body? The age of the treasure map is probably more than 100,000 years old, right? All of a sudden, countless questions popped up in Yi Chen's mind. Unfortunately, no one can answer his questions. Everything is an unknown. Opening his eyes, Yi Chen frowned. Forget it. If you can't figure it out, don't think about it. After complaining in his heart, Yi Chen looked at the demon road again. Unfortunately, Yang Bubi still didn't show up. There were no other demon geniuses either. Anyway, Yi Chen was bored, so he simply closed his eyes. He planned to comprehend the mystery of death. As the saying goes, more skills are better than less, right? Before, he was afraid that the remnant soul would regret it temporarily, so he urged the other party to let him enter the core area. Now, that's another matter. Half an hour later, a grey miasma appeared around Yi Chen. His death state of mind was rapidly transforming towards the direction of the mystery of death. Seeing this scene, the remnant soul was stunned. In his mind, he couldn't help but think of a sentence Yi Chen said not long ago. Is it difficult to comprehend the mystery? Before, he thought Yi Chen was crazy, too arrogant. But now, he realized, he definitely underestimated the young man in front of him. This kid's talent is so strong that it's outrageous. It's okay to comprehend the state of death so quickly. Now comprehending the mystery of death so quickly. Is this still a human? Yi Chen's appearance made the remnant soul feel like an eye-opener. Yi Chen's talent is even more beyond the reach of the remnant soul. I'm afraid that even his master's talent will be easily crushed in front of this young man. Chapter 77, Average, third in the world of immortal cultivation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Half an hour later, Yi Chen ended his state of enlightenment, because he had completely comprehended the secret of death. Now, he has mastered 4 of the top 10 secrets: the secret of life, the secret of space, the secret of destruction, the secret of death. If the remnant soul knew, he would probably be petrified on the spot, right? You know, any top state of mind is very difficult to comprehend, let alone the secret. An 18-year-old young man, mastering 4 top secrets. This can be said to be a miracle. Opening his eyes, stretching his waist, Yi Chen once again crossed his legs and lay on the square, with one hand resting on his head and the other holding a wine pot. Yi Chen drank a sip of wine from time to time while being bored and dazed. From time to time, Yi Chen would look in the direction of the demon road. Unfortunately, those geniuses of the demon clan are really too disappointing. Until now, no one has reached the top. It has been almost a day since Yi Chen started his journey to the Devil's Way. Practice? Yi Chen doesn't need to practice now. The mysterious technique given by his master is running all the time. The effect is no different from practicing hard. However, the energy that the 2 purple vortices in his body can contain and absorb is too magnificent. The purple vortex in the direction of the Dantian is absorbing and storing energy. The small vortex in the small world in Yi Chen's body is constantly absorbing energy and converting it into the power of the avenue of life, which is completely immersed in the small world in his body. Now, the gray little flame also comes to share a piece of the pie. So, he is still in the early stage of the first layer of the nascent soul stage. If it were someone else, it is estimated that his strength would have improved by leaps and bounds, right? There is no way, mainly because Yi Chen's foundation is too terrifying. The energy capacity that his body and the 2 purple vortices can contain is too amazing. Speaking of this, I have to mention the mysterious technique that Yi Chen practiced. Normally, the spiritual energy from all directions around him would probably be drained by him. After all, the speed of his internal skills is too amazing. However, it didn't happen. The spiritual energy and energy absorbed by Yi Chen seemed to come from an unknown place beyond the rules of heaven. As for the origin body forging technique, without finding the required heaven-defying treasure, it is impossible to practice the second level. Yi Chen understood that he wanted to become stronger quickly. I'm afraid he had to start with resources. For example, get some heaven-defying treasures. Also, refine a large number of pills. Perhaps, after leaving the Demon Mountain, it's time to refine pills, Yi Chen said secretly in his heart. Seeing Yi Chen's lazy look, the corner of the residual soul's mouth twitched fiercely. Young man. You are so evil. Why are you so lazy? Flying in front of Yi Chen, the residual soul couldn't help asking. Because I don't need to practice. After taking a sip of wine, Yi Chen replied with a smile. Instantly, countless black lines appeared on the forehead of the remnant soul. No need to practice. Are you kidding? Are there any human beings who don't need to practice? I'm afraid that even some top divine bodies can't do it. With your strength and talent, what level are you among the younger generation in the outside world? After a moment of silence, the remnant soul couldn't help asking again. Just so, just the third in the world of cultivation. Grinning, Yi Chen answered seriously. Oh. What do you mean? Hearing Yi Chen's words, the remnant soul instantly became interested. The sky is first, the earth is second, and I am third. Glancing at the remnant soul, Yi Chen said lightly. Damn. You are really shameless. Rolling his eyes, the remnant soul said with contempt. He said so, but he also felt it in his heart. I'm afraid that with Yi Chen's talent, it is estimated that he would be an extremely dazzling existence in the outside world of cultivation. Even, it is not impossible to be the best among all the heroes. On the road of demons, far ahead of all the geniuses of the demon race. Comprehending the artistic conception and the mysteries is as easy as drinking water. This is not something that ordinary geniuses can do. In the eyes of the remnant soul, some immortal seedlings of the top forces may not be able to achieve this level. although the remnant soul does not know Yi Chen's specific cultivation, he does not think that this guy will be weak. Intuition. He has always been very accurate in judging people. Suddenly, Yi Chen showed a surprised expression on his face, then, he stood up unconsciously. Yi Chen's eyes looked directly in the direction of the demon road. A figure has appeared 100 steps away from the square. On the steps behind, several figures can also be vaguely seen. The demon clan's geniuses are finally about to reach the top one after another. Alas! There is really no harm without comparison. Behind Yi Chen, the remnant soul sighed. He glanced at the demon clan's geniuses, and then looked at Yi Chen with complicated eyes. How great it would be if the young man in front of him was a demon clan's genius. Originally, the remnant soul still had illusions. He thought that Yi Chen was the first to ascend the demon road and would be far ahead of others. However, now his illusions have been completely shattered. Below the 10,000th step, the demon road has many branches. It only became a road from the 10,001st step. From the moment they ascended the demon road, every person who ascended would have an invisible mark formed by the rules of the demon mountain. Only he knew this mark. It was clear that Yi Chen and these Tianjiao ascended the road at almost the same time. In fact, Yi Chen and another Tianjiao were about half an hour later. If it was just the difference in the time of ascending the road, the remnant soul could still accept it, but when Yi Chen reached the top, he was like nothing happened, so relaxed. On the other hand, which of these demon Tianjiao was not covered in blood, mentally atrophied, and shaky? It was simply a difference between heaven and earth. Yi Chen's eyes were on the second person who ascended the road. He was still 201 steps away from the top. This person was none other than Yi Chen's servant Yang Bubi. The others were ignored by Yi Chen. In Yi Chen's eyes, the four Tianjiao in the front were just like that, even though they are all young demons in the spiritualization stage. But so what? Behind Yi Chen, the remnant soul also followed his gaze. For Yang Bubi, the remnant soul was very dissatisfied. On his face, there was also an expression of disappointment. The dignified son of the demon clan was actually willing to be a servant of others. Where is his backbone? Where is his integrity? Where is his moral integrity? It really discredits the demon clan. In a coincidence, several Tianjiao all looked at Yi Chen, because Yi Chen has already reached the edge of the demon road, an expression of watching the fun. Looking at Yi Chen, the faces of several Tianjiao were very complicated. Chapter 78. It's really crazy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Especially Yang Bubi, the longer he was in contact with Yi Chen, the more he understood the gap between himself and him. It was an insurmountable chasm. Including himself, the two saints and two saints of the demon clan had to work hard to reach the top of the demon road. But look at Yi Chen. It was as easy as it could be. It was as easy as playing house. Yang Bubi, hurry up. I've been waiting for more than a day. Hurry up and reach the top and enter the core area, and then we'll leave here. Looking at Yang Bubi, Yi Chen urged unhappily. All of a sudden, the remnant soul, the thin young man with a gloomy face in the front, and the two beautiful demon saints behind Yang Bubi all looked at Yang Bubi. Some figures in the distance also had a look of surprise on their faces. What's going on? Yang Bubi, one of the saints of the demon clan, was actually related to a human young man. It seems that this young man of the human race is still ordering him. Yes, Master Yi. After taking a deep breath and calming down, Yang Bubi replied calmly. After hearing what Yang Bubi said, Yi Chen showed a satisfied smile on his face. The remnant soul behind him had a gloomy and uncertain look on his face. For Yang Bubi, the remnant soul can be said to be very unhappy. However, for some reason, he still didn't do anything to Yang Bubi. The other saints and saints of the demon race were shocked. As for some demons in the back, they were completely confused. It can even be said that their brains are not enough. Yang Bubi, one of the saints of the demon race, actually bowed down to a young man of the human race. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes and heard it with their own ears, they would never believe it was true. Yang Bubi, you really give the demon clan face. Humph. A gloomy young man at the front looked back at Yang Bubi and said with sarcasm. Don't bother with it. Glancing at the gloomy young man lightly, Yang Bubi said calmly. Humph. Snorting coldly, the gloomy young man looked at Yi Chen again. Human, are you looking for death? How dare you let the demon clan saint be your servant? Looking at Yi Chen, the gloomy young man narrowed his eyes. In fact, his heart was far from being as calm as it seemed on the surface. With his understanding of Yang Bubi, how could the other party be willing to be inferior to others? There must be some reason for this. The kid in front of him is probably not as simple as he seems. Wait. What did the other party mean just now? Has he been on the top for more than a day? This? All of a sudden, the gloomy young man showed a look of doubt in his eyes. Do you have any objections? Looking at the gloomy young man with a half-smile, Yi Chen grinned. Young man, stop it. I won't allow you to attack the demons in the sacred mountain. At this moment, the remnant soul flew to Yi Chen's side, and he glared at Yi Chen unhappily and said slowly. Okay, shrugged, Yi Chen said indifferently. Anyway, I don't take them seriously. He's still in the spiritualization stage in his 30s, and he's not even half a step into the Mahayana stage. Too useless. Shaking his head, Yi Chen said angrily. When they heard Yi Chen's words, the expressions on everyone's faces were very exciting. This kid. It's really too crazy. Mocking the demon saint and some evildoers. Where does he get the confidence? The only one who didn't react much was Yang Bubi, a ruthless man who can even kill the peerless strongmen in the Xianxia stage. Isn't it normal not to take the masters of the spiritualization stage seriously? Besides, the number of people who died in the God transformation stage due to Yi Chen's calculations has reached hundreds of thousands, right? He really has the capital to say these words. Except for Yang Bubi, only Kanhun can be calm. Others looked at Yi Chen fiercely. They were usually high and mighty, but now they were despised. This made them feel very unhappy. Seeing the reactions of the crowd, the smile on Yi Chen's face became brighter. He hoped that these guys would do something to him. Capturing 1 or 2 hostages might make it easier to leave the demon mountain, otherwise, it would be a big hassle again. He hated trouble. Outside the demon mountain, some powerful demons were already a little impatient. At the same time, they also felt very unhappy. The human who entered their sacred mountain seemed to have entered the core area. It was really abominable. Thinking about it, they all wanted to tear the other party into pieces. Guard all directions. Don't give the other side any chance to escape. In the sky, a demon warrior in the half-step Xianxia period ordered. Yes. Hearing his words, the warriors dispersed. Finally, they landed on the entrances of the demon mountain. What they didn't realize was that in a desert nearly 100 miles away from the demon mountain, behind a weathered boulder, there was a small black figure watching all this. This was a handsome boy wearing a black long coat, about 6 or 7 years old. Damn it, Yi Chen is really a talent. Dare to enter the other side's sacred mountain to search for treasure under the eyes of the demons. More arrogant than me. Shaking his head, the little boy said to himself. However, there was not much worry on his face. It is obvious that he is full of confidence in Yi Chen. In the past 2 days, the East region can be said to be turbulent, because the 10 major forces in the East region have killed some immortals and peerless monsters. The person who made the move was a little boy. After killing people, the little boy arrogantly left a sentence. I just want to vent my anger on Yi Chen. Welcome all major forces to hunt me down. It can be said to be arrogant. Unfortunately, the people of the 10 major forces in the East region really have no way to deal with the other party. The masters of the God transformation stage, the Mahayana stage, and even the tribulation stage they sent out could not find the other party. In the end, they had no choice but to summon the immortals and monsters under their door back, a peerless strong man in the loose immortal stage. Nowadays, the loose immortal stage of the 10 major forces in the East region dare not show up easily. They are afraid of being killed by Xuanjizi. Because Xuanjizi has left Dao's sect more than once and wandered around, and he did it openly. After Dao's sect closed the mountain, Xuanjizi has become fearless, soul-destroying Hall. They can't be counted on. Although the people of soul-destroying Hall have been looking for Yi Chen and clamoring to destroy Dao's sect, but until now, they have not sent a master to the East region. It's just thunder and rain. Now you still want to count on the soul-destroying Hall? Are you kidding? It can be said without hesitation that there are three most famous people in the East region now: Xuanjizi, Yi Chen, and that mysterious little boy. Chapter 79, crushed the whole audience. Did the little skeleton succeed? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sure enough. Just as Remnant Soul said, these demon geniuses have never reached the top. They had just stepped onto the last step of the magic path and were teleported away. There is no doubt that they were transported to the core of the magic mountain. Not long after, these people were teleported out one after another, appear in the square. Master Yi, Yang Bubi put on a clean black armor and walked up to Yi Chen. It's not hard to tell by the excitement in his eyes. What he gained in the core area was definitely not bad. The reactions of several other people were similar. The first group of demons to reach the summit were 4 young men, 2 men and 2 women, including Yang Bubi. They are all the holy sons and saints of the demon clan. As for others, they are still struggling and are still some way off the ladder. For some unknown reason, the remnant soul disappeared. In fact, Yi Chen was a little doubtful that Yang Bubi and others couldn't see the remnant soul at all. In other words, even though he saw it, he didn't take the remnant soul to heart. Let's go. Nodding, Yi Chen said casually. The other 3 were simply ignored by him. Yes. Walking to Yi Chen's side, Yang Bubi said cleanly. However, at this moment, the other 3 people blocked the 2 of them. The leader was none other than the shadowy young man. Yang Dingtian, get out of the way. Looking at the Yining young man, Yang Bubi frowned and said, He. No one of you 2 can leave safely today. With a sneer, Ong Dingtian said with a smile. Especially, you traitor. After giving Yang Bubi a cold look, Yang Dingtian continued. 1 peak of the 9th heaven of the divine transformation stage, 2 peaks of the 8th heaven of the divine transformation stage. Are you really treating yourself like a pot dish? After glancing at the 3 of them, Yi Chen said calmly, if it weren't for the remnant soul, he really wouldn't mind killing them at all. Anyway, it is impossible for the 2 parties to reconcile. He. After saying that, Yi Chen took action directly without any hesitation. I saw lightning flashing on his body. He lightly slapped a palm, and in an instant, the surrounding space of dozens of feet collapsed. The sky was full of thunder, enveloping Yang Dingtian and the others. Without even a chance to react, they flew backwards, vomiting blood, and fell into the demonic path again. Seeing this scene, Yang Bubi's pupils couldn't help but shrink slightly. A bitter smile appeared on the corner of his mouth unconsciously. It is rumored that Yi Chen is in the early stage of the first level of nascent soul stage. But, is this guy really in this realm? How could the demon saint's son and the 2 saints be so vulnerable to him? The nascent soul stage beats the transformation stage. Or the crushing kind. This? If you hadn't seen it with your own eyes, you wouldn't believe it was true. Because it's too exaggerated. Is this the true strength of an unprecedented monster who has survived 10 heavenly tribulations? So powerful. This young man, at some point, the remnant soul appeared again, suspended not far behind Yi Chen. Shock was written on his old face. Will the nascent soul stage crush the divine transformation stage? This is really his first time seeing him. Yes, the moment Yi Chen took action, he felt Yi Chen's true strength. Because of this, it was very difficult for him to accept it. If you are above the nascent soul stage, aren't you allowed to cross-level challenges? In the same realm, if you can challenge yourself in a smaller realm, you are a peerless monster. But this guy? He is simply not human. Ridiculously strong. The body of Tianlei is not bad. After muttering to himself, Yi Chen showed a satisfied smile on his face. With a single palm of your hand, you can shoot away the monsters in the transformation stage of gods. Not bad. Let's go. Yes. After saying that, Yi Chen and Yang Bubi flew away from the magic mountain. 2 white lights shot into the sky, and their figures disappeared. How can humans be so powerful? He muttered to himself, with a look of disbelief on Kanhan's face. After leaving the magic mountain, Yi Chen decisively sacrificed the Feitian magic workshop. Then, he and Yang Bubi's figures fell on the deck of Feitian Mafang. In an instant, Feitian Mafang was directly surrounded, a large group of Mahayana demon masters. There is also a strong demon from the half-step immortal stage. Get away, that without thinking, Chen said decisively. I saw that with a wave of his hand, a space channel appeared out of thin air. Before a group of demon masters could react, Feitian Mafang fell into the space passage. The next moment, the mystery of death and the mystery of destruction burst out and flew toward everyone. In addition, there were a bunch of formation discs flying towards them for free. In an instant, the surrounding space collapsed. Destruction and the mystery of death are everywhere, and some thunders appear from time to time, not to mention those masters of the Mahayana demon race. Even the masters of the half-step immortal stage were in a hurry due to Yi Chen's trick. When they were about to make a strong move, it was a pity that Feitian Mafang had disappeared. It's as if it never appeared. Everything happens in the blink of an eye. When Feitian Magic House appeared again, it was already an incense stick of time later, thousands of miles away in the air. On the deck of Feitian Magic House, Yi Chen had a smug smile on his face. His eyes were full of excitement. It seemed that his guess was not wrong at all. As long as it was used properly, the mystery of space could completely escape under the nose of the half-step loose immortal stage. Hee. Thinking about it, Yi Chen was secretly happy. That the next moment, the smile on Yi Chen's face froze, replaced by an expression of doubt. Not only him, but Yang Bubi on the side also had a face full of doubt. Both of them looked towards the bow of Feitian Magic House not far away. I saw a small black figure slowly walking towards them. This is a handsome little boy of 6 or 7 years old. It seems a little familiar. Looking at the little boy, Yi Chen muttered secretly in his heart. A thought suddenly popped up in his mind. Could it be? Hey! Yi Chen, I succeeded. How about it? Am I handsome? Walking towards Yi Chen, the little boy grinned with an air of old-fashionedness. Little skeleton, did you really succeed? Reborn. TSK. Walking around the little boy, Yi Chen's face was full of smiles. He was also happy for the little skeleton to be able to live again. Of course. Don't you see who I am? How could I fail? I'm telling you, I'm also in the early stage of the first level of the nascent soul stage. The same realm as you. Also, I've passed through 9 heavenly tribulations. Isn't that awesome? Well. It can't be compared to you, a pervert. Hee. But now I'm also a famous person in the East region. A few days ago, I killed a lot of immortal seedlings and monsters from the 10 major forces. Am I loyal enough? Damn it, you dare to bully my brother. You're really tired of living. Also, don't call me little skeleton anymore. My name is Donghuang. It has to be said that little skeleton is little skeleton, as always a chatterbox. Once he starts talking, he can't stop at all. Chapter 80 Donghuang. Afraid that you guys will mess up the order of generations? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hearing the words of the little skull, the smile on Yi Chen's face became even brighter. Really good. As expected of a little skeleton. I really didn't let myself down. Etc. Is this guy as strong as me now? The early stage of the first level of the nascent soul stage. Also, is he going through 9 heavenly tribulations? Wait. Donghuang. Suddenly, Yi Chen looked at the little skeleton with an extremely weird look. Donghuang. This name seems a bit familiar. Before he traveled through time, it seemed that Donghuang was a mythical figure, right? Still very strong. This is a bit ridiculous. Yang Bubi, on the other hand, was already completely messy in the wind. His brain was also blank. The little boy in front of him is actually the little skeleton next to Yi Chen. Live a new life. 9 heavenly tribulations. Killed many fairies and monsters from the top 10 forces in the eastern region just to vent his anger on Yi Chen. These pieces of information are simply more shocking than the last. Little skeleton. Donghuang. Okay. I'll call you Donghuang from now on. After coming back to his senses, he patted the little skeleton on the shoulder and said with a smile. You have killed so many immortal seedlings and monsters, and the strong men of those forces won't hunt you down. Immediately, Yi Chen couldn't help but ask curiously. Pursue me. Why don't you pursue me? It's just that I don't have any other abilities. When it comes to escaping, I'm invincible, okay? Pouting his lips, Donghuang said with a stern look on his face. Hearing Donghuang's words, Chen had a dark look on his face. Escape. Invincible. This kid still feels proud. How stinky and shameless. Chen complained secretly in his heart. Who is this? Only now did Donghuang notice Yang Bubi beside him. Hearing his words, Chen and Yang Bubi both broke into sweat. Is the reflex arc of this product too long? My name is Yang Bubi, one of the holy sons of the demon clan, and now I am Mr. Ye's servant. Looking at Donghuang, Yang Bubi's face was as stern as ever. It was as if he was talking about something that had nothing to do with him. Fuck. Chen, you are really a lunatic. Accepting someone else's holy son as a servant in the demon clan's stronghold in northern Xinjiang. Looking up at Chen, Donghuang said with astonishment on his face. However, when he thought about what Chen did in the east region, he felt that it was not a big deal. This kid is originally a master who is not afraid of trouble, isn't he? Calm down. I have offended so many people. One more person is not a big deal, and one less person is not a big deal. Spreading his hands, Chen said calmly. Upon hearing Chen's words, the corners of Donghuang and Yang Bubi's mouths twitched violently. This guy has a pretty good attitude. By the way, Donghuang, I want to ask you something. Suddenly, Chen said seriously. You say. After a pause, Donghuang said, where can I understand the artistic conception of time? Taking a deep breath, Chen looked into Donghuang's eyes and asked. Time mood. Suddenly, Donghuang frowned. You have always been very lazy about cultivation, why are you suddenly so active? After giving Chen a suspicious look, Donghuang asked a little puzzlingly. Well, with a sigh, Chen briefly told the story about Huang Yinhua and Yang Chu. After listening, both Little Skull and Yang Bubi showed strange expressions on their faces. This? Originally, there is one thing that I am quite surprised about. Not long ago, your master Xianxia suddenly announced to the world that he would accept Huang Yinhua and Yang Chu as his registered disciples. Qingqing, I'm afraid you will mess up your seniority. Looking at Chen, Donghuang showed an ambiguous smile on his face, then, he laughed mischievously. Go away. Let's get down to business. Staring at the little skeleton, Chen said angrily. At the same time, he was secretly dumbfounding. Master's skills are really. I don't know where to find the artistic conception of time. It seems that before you, there was no artistic conception such as time and space in the world of immortality. Perhaps, you can ask Xiaoqi. After scratching his head, Donghuang said with an embarrassed look. Xiaoqi. After being stunned for a moment, Chen showed a thoughtful expression on his face. It seems that it is quite mysterious. Suddenly, Chen thought of what it had done to help him fuse the star core before. Besides, however, what made Chen a little depressed was that, just when he was about to call Xiaoqi, the little guy actually fell into a deep sleep, can't wake up at all. Never mind. Let's find a place to stay first. After taking a breath, Chen said. Okay. This is what I have in mind. Nodding, Donghuang said, I have to say that Donghuang is as full of bad taste as ever. When he was bored, he actually started practicing with Yang Bubi. Originally, Yang Bubi was still full of confidence and was even a little worried about hurting Donghuang. However, he was soon beaten by Donghuang until his nose was black and his eyes were swollen. There is no way to fight back. Too weak. It's boring. Shaking his head, Donghuang said with a disappointed look. His face also showed a boring expression that was not proportional to his age. Hearing Donghuang's words, Yang Bubi almost vomited blood in anger. Too weak. He was one of the holy sons of the demon clan, but he was actually said to be too weak. Is he mistaken? Even if he was placed in the entire world of cultivation, he would be a top-notch monster, okay? However, thinking of Donghuang's horror, he became autistic again. It's okay that Master Yi is so evil. Why are the people around him so evil too? Is there any justice? Is this really the nascent soul stage? You are so strong, why don't you compete with Master Yi? Looking at Donghuang with resentment, Yang Bubi said with a frustrated look on his face. Xiaoyang. Let me teach you a lesson. Your master is not a human being at all. Fight with him. Isn't this a shame? He is a ruthless man who can even kill a Xianxian-level person. Take out the wine pot and take a sip of wine, Donghuang said with an air of dignity. My ultimate combat power is only at the Mahayana level at best. This guy Yi Chen, his combat power must have reached the half-step tribulation crossing stage, right? Fight with him. I am not a masochist. Donghuang muttered in his heart with great depression. Before Yi Chen came out of nowhere, it felt that it could be the best in the world, but, since knowing Yi Chen, Donghuang felt that it would be good to be the second best in the world. Hearing Donghuang's words, Yang Bubi felt suffocated, but he had to admit that Donghuang was right. Not far away, Yi Chen was lying on the deck with his legs crossed, looking at Donghuang and Yang Bubi. And hearing their conversation, Yi Chen was amused. These two guys. They are really top-notch. When Xiao He wakes up, will it be even more lively? It's really exciting.